In today's episode, we will tell the story of King Shahryar and his brother Shah Zaman before his marriage to Shahrazad. I want you to be a child because all the stories that we mention in this series have many things that are out of nature and illogical and imaginary. So enjoy throwing reality a little, and take you a quarter of an hour in imagination. And before you turn on the mood of imagination, get up, prepare for you a wonderful drink, or a nice simple snack, in case your weight is not increasing. And then get ready, my friend, and in the name of God, come on. We start at a time that was not mentioned by the numbers, and in a day that was not present in the calendar of history. There was a king of the kingdom of Shah Zaman, the kingdom that stretched from Persia to India to the borders of China, and this king was called King Shahryar. He was a revered king with many soldiers, guards, and servants, and he was extremely wealthy. And he also had a wife who was one of the most beautiful women on earth. And the people of the kingdom of Shah Zaman loved their king very much and considered her the most enemy of kings on earth. This is the great king in the eyes of his people. Shahryar had a younger brother. What is this brother called? The Shah al-Zaman. And he was also a king, so he ruled the city of Samarkand, and his rule was subordinate to the rule of his older brother. I mean, he is a king so that he does not get upset. And Samarkand is not big. You follow him to Shahryar the same time when you give your brother the hand of the Soni, and it is separated as well. This is what happened between Shahryar and Shah al-Zaman anyway, because all the brothers are kings, so everyone used to live in a different city, and these two brothers separated from each other. During their rule of 20 years, each one of them was distracted by his city, your kingdom, and his people. One day, King Shahryar missed his brother, King Shah al-Zaman. So Shahryar got up and summoned one of his close ministers and told him, "You're now going out to my brother's city to Samarkand, and I want you to ask him to come to visit me as soon as possible because I miss him very much." And really, the minister did not lie. The news went directly to Samarkand and met King Shah al-Zaman and told him that your brother, the elder king, misses you very much, and he wants to see you as soon as possible. Shah al-Zaman was very happy that his brother was summoned to the king of the kingdom of Shah Zaman, and he got up and prepared himself. He prepared the equipment, he arranged his procession and said goodbye to his wife and set off. And as soon as the procession of King Shah al-Zaman arrived to the borders of Samarkand, he just got out of the city, but suddenly remembered that he did not take his brother's gift before he left. Before he traveled, he prepared a simple gift and put it in his room inside his palace. So here directly Shah al-Zaman ordered his soldiers to take him back to the palace. And as soon as arrived, he was directly at the palace. He entered his bedroom to take the gift and returned to continue his trip. But Shah al-Zaman was surprised in his bedroom by a scene of shock. He saw his wife lying down on his bed with one of his slaves. When Shah saw this scene, the world became black in his eyes, and he said to himself, "If this woman did this thing, and if I did not cross the city limits, then how about her? I was away with my brother, the king, for a long time. I have no hour or 2 hours traveling, and directly betrayed me. So how? If I spent weeks or months with my brother?" On every Shah al-Zaman, he did the action that you expected. Now, he grabbed his sword and directly hit his wife and the slave with her. So he killed them. And after that, he took his brother's gift and returned to his procession. He was silent and continued the road towards the city of King Shahryar. Shah al-Zaman arrived at the capital of the kingdom of Shah Zaman, which was decorated by order of his brother, and all the inhabitants of the city were going out to receive him and welcome him with him. And this procession arrived at the king's palace, and the elder king, Shahryar, came out here, and the younger king received his brother and welcomed him. He entered his palace and sat in his council, and he talks to him. But Shahryar noticed a strange thing on his brother. He felt that his brother is not on each other. It seems that there is something bothering him. So Shahryar stood up here and wanted to ask his brother, "What is wrong with you? What is happening with you?" But he hesitated and said to himself, "Maybe my brother is tired from traveling or misses his kingdom and family and wife, so let him rest." And he didn't feel the issue. The first, second, and third days passed and Shah Zaman's condition worsened. And his brother Shahryar noticed that, looking at him with wonder. The color of Shah al-Zaman has become. His body became yellow and the situation from bad to worse. Anyway, he was used to go out every once in a while to hunt. So he stood up here. He told his brother Shah Zaman and said to him, Brother, what do you think of going out hunting with me? Jewel, because I feel you are not on each other. Shah al-Zaman thanked his brother for this matter, but he refused to go out hunting and told his brother, I prefer to sit in the palace. Shahryar didn't try to bother his brother more than this. He and his soldiers went out in a hunting procession in one of the forests. At these moments, Shah al-Zaman entered his room and sat on the balcony overlooking the palace garden, and he started to look at the world. That bothered him very much. And suddenly, while looking at the palace garden, he saw a strange scene. He saw 20 maids coming out from the gates of the palace, very good and beautiful. And after that 20 slaves followed them, and then the queen followed them, the most beautiful woman on earth. At that time, his brother's wife, Shahryar Shah Zaman, started. He looks at them and waits and sees who they are, where they are going. And he saw that they went to the pond that is in the palace garden and sat at this pond, except suddenly the queen calls a slave called Masood. When this slave came, he approached the queen and hugged her, and the queen hugged him as well. Then this slave fell with the queen. After that, the same thing happened with the other slave and his maidservant. All this was happening in front of the eyes of the Shah of time, and the queen remained with her slaves and maidservants doing obscenity until the day went. And Shah al-Zaman was watching this scene until it was over. Then he said, I swear my disaster is easier than this disaster. Shah al-Zaman saw that his wife, she betrayed him, but he is with one slave and he killed her. As for his brother, his wife is doing something obscene in an obscene way outside the limits. The important thing is that Shah al-Zaman, after he saw his brother's disaster, his disaster became easy for him. And he went away from his chest of worry and sadness, and returned to eat again, and with the same health and wellness and color returns to him. And after 2 or 3 days his brother King Shahryar returned from hunting. And Shahryar, when he came back from hunting, he saw his brother Shah al-Zaman happy, and contrary to what was mentioned in it, for the first time. And its color changed from yellow to red. Shahryar stood up here and said to his brother, Brother, I want to ask you, when you came to me you were yellow, and you were obvious worried and sad, and now your health is back again. So I want you to tell me why your color changed and returned. So Shah Zaman stood up and said to his brother, O brother, as for my color changing, I will tell you, and when my color returned to me, excuse me. Shahryar said to him, You are excused for the second answer, but tell me the first answer. So he said to him, I bear witness, O brother, a long time ago when I was traveling for you, I forgot your gift and returned to my palace to take it, and I found my wife sleeping on my bed cheating on me with one of my servants. So I was sad for myself because I am a king and a man desired by all women, and my wife is cheating on me, so I killed her and killed the slave. And Shahryar came to you, and you were amazed, but not by the betrayal of a wife, but you were amazed, because this is a great matter, and it deserves health and worry. But there is something greater than that, leave this. Shah Zaman tried to evade right and left, but Shahryar insisted on him. Shah Zaman stood up and said to him, Listen, brother, your wife is cheating on you with a slave named Masood and is holding crazy and obscene parties in your palace among the slaves and concubines. Shahryar was astonished and shocked by this talk and denied this matter to his brother Shah Zaman and said to him, I will not believe you unless I see this with my own eyes. My wife loves me very much and it is impossible for her to cheat on me. Shah Zaman said to him, If you want to be sure, then after a week say that you will go hunting, then return in disguise to the palace and come to my balcony and come out yourself. Indeed, a week passed and the king announced that he would go hunting. Then Shahryar returned in disguise to the palace and entered his brother Shah Zaman's room and sat on the balcony watching the palace garden. Suddenly, the same thing happened in front of him and he saw his wife's betrayal openly. King Shahryar's mind was broken and he was shocked by the sight. He was very sad and his color changed. He stood up and said to his little brother, Brother, I have nothing left. I am in power and I do not think you are. So come, let us travel and escape on earth. We searched among its kings to see if there were kings like us who had experienced what had happened, or if we were the only miserable, weak ones among these traitors. Shah Zaman agreed. He and his brother Shahryar set out and traveled. Days and nights passed for Shah Zaman and Shahryar, moving from city to city and region to region. One day, the two kings saw a tall tree offering wonderful shade. At the same time, a spring of drinkable water overlooking the salty sea overlooked it. They said to each other, Why don't we sit under the shade of this tree, drink some of the water, and rest for 2 or 3 days? Indeed, the two brothers sat under the tree and rested. When night fell, a bright light suddenly appeared from the depths of the sea. The brothers were immediately frightened by this light, so they climbed the tree and hid there. Suddenly, from the sea, amidst the shadows of this light, emerged a great man with a tall body and broad shoulders, carrying a large golden chest on his head. The brothers did not know whether this man was a genie, a demon, a monster, or a human. He walked along the beach until he reached the bottom of the tree. He sat under it and opened his box. He said, "O lady of the free men, whom you kidnapped on her wedding day, come out of the box." Then a beautiful girl came out of the box, as beautiful as the sun, and sat beside the devil. Then the devil lay down under the tree and fell asleep. The girl got up and looked at the tree. She saw the two kings clinging to it. She motioned for them to come down. They were the kings, Shahryar and Shah Zaman. Of course they were very scared, and the girl signaled for them to come down. Then this beautiful girl stood up and spoke and said, "If you do not come down from the tree now, I will wake up the devil and tell him that you are there, and let him kill you in the worst way." So they scared the two brothers, the two kings, and went down to this girl, and after they became the two kings on earth, this girl got up and told them, "Come on now, do this and that with me." In a clear way she thought about herself, so the king was relieved of this matter, and they told her, "We do it." So she told them if she did that to the demon woke up. So Shahryar got up here to talk to Shah Zaman, and so on. And they tried to find a solution for them, but they did not find, and it was not in front of them, but they acquiesced to the requests of this girl, and they fell the two kings with this girl. And after they finished that, this girl got up and took out a bag from her pocket. And from this bag she took out a necklace with 570 rings in it, and she said to our royal friends, "Do you know what these rings are?" And they said to her, "We do not know." And she told them, "These are the rings of men. They did to me as you did, and I take them as a souvenir, and now I take off your rings, because I want them." So they gave him their rings while they were silent in front of them, but they acquiesced to the requests of this girl, and they fell the two kings with this girl. And after they finished that, this girl got up and took out a bag from her pocket. And from this bag she took out a necklace with 570 rings in it, and she said to our royal friends, "Do you know what these rings are?" And they said to her, "We do not know." And she told them, "These are the rings of men. They did to me as you did, and I take them as a souvenir, and now I take off your rings, because I want them." So they gave him their rings while they were silent. After that, the girl said to them, "This is the demon that you see in front of you. He kidnapped me from my family on my wedding night and put me in this gilded box, then hid me at the bottom of the sea, because he is afraid of me and loves me and jealous of me. But he did not know that the woman, if she wanted something, she did, and no matter what, she was overwhelmed." By then she told them two verses of poetry: "Do not trust women and do not trust their promises. Their satisfaction and discontent is hanging with gin fur. They show a liar and treachery stuffing their clothes, or what Satan sees. Get Adam out for them." When the two kings heard these words from the girl, they were very surprised and said to each other, "If this scary demon with super abilities was not safe from the treachery of women, how about us?" And above, this woman who is with this demon did not betray him once or twice or 3 times or more than 570 times. So the worry of Shah al-Zaman and King Shahryar was displaced, and they decided to return to the kingdoms of Shah al-Zaman. He went to Samarkand and continued with his wisdom. Shahryar also returned to the capital of Sazan city, and the first time he reached it, he killed his wife and killed the slaves and maidservants. And after this moment, the habits of King Shahryar changed. Now his people hate him because he started to do a very bad habit. He became between every week and a week marries a virgin girl from his kingdom, and after he falls in it on the first night of marriage, the next morning he kills her and then repeats the ball. The next week he marries Bakar's daughter, and then in the morning he kills her, and so on, until the families became the people of the city and the people of the kingdom, who have beautiful virgin daughters who hide illusions or immigrate from them outside the kingdom. And the years passed, and Shahryar does this worldly act in revenge against his wife. He thought he was with the daughters of his kingdom and Shahryar. When he wanted to get married, he ordered the close minister to go out and roam around the country and bring Bakar's daughter. And after years, as we said, the eldest girls started to become extinct, who ran away and who hid, and so on. He thought he was with the daughters of his kingdom and Shahryar. When he wanted to get married, he ordered the close minister to go out and roam around the country and bring Bakar's daughter. And after years, as we said, the eldest girls started to become extinct, who ran away and who hid, and so on. So when the minister who is close to Shahryar ordered him to bring him Bakar's daughter, this minister went out and started to roam the country looking for a girl, but he could not find. So the minister returned here to his house very sad, and he does not know how tomorrow he will meet. The king, the minister, when he entered his house, they saw his 2 daughters, the old one, a month, increased, and the little one, Dunya, increased. They saw their father. The minister is depressed and very upset. So Shahrazad came forward and said to her father, "What is wrong with you, Dad?" And he said, the king, the minister, when he entered his house, they saw his 2 daughters, the old one, a month, increased, and the little one, Dunya, increased. They saw their father. The minister is depressed and very upset. So Shahrazad came forward and said to her father, "What is wrong with you, Dad?" And he said, her father, the minister, went out to search for the king to marry a wife according to the specifications he had requested, but I did not find what she had found for him in the kingdom of Bakar's daughter. And tomorrow if I went to him and told him that I had not found anything, he would of course kill me. It is mentioned that Shahrazad was a very intelligent girl and was an avid reader of history books. It is said that she read 1,000 history books about previous peoples and kings. Shahrazad stood up and said to her father, "If he refused to marry me, I would either live or be a slave for the sake of the daughters of the Muslims." Her father stood up, looked at her, and said to her, "My daughter, do not risk yourself." She said, "Here is Shahrazad, my father. Either I survive, or I am a sacrifice for the sake of the daughters of the Muslims." The father agreed to the request. His daughter got up and prepared her for marriage, and the next morning before the minister took his daughter to the king, she stood up and called her sister Dunyazad and said to her, "I want you to attend the wedding with me, and when the king and I get into bed I will let him call you, and if he calls you and you see that he has dismissed me, I want you to say a specific sentence and leave the rest to me." The 2 sisters agreed on their plan. Then they all went with their father, the minister, to the palace, and the minister handed his daughter over to the king as a wife, and a royal wedding was held. After that, Shahryar took his new wife Shahrazad to her bed, and as soon as Shahrazad got into bed, she started crying. So King Shahryar got up and said to her, "What is the matter with you, King Shahrazad?" Then King Shahrazad said to him, "I have a little sister who is attached to me, and I am attached to her. So I want her to come and stay with us, even if she gets rid of me, and before she kills me, I want to say goodbye to her." The king looked at her and said, "You will be killed, and perhaps your sister's turn will come first." The king summoned Dunyazad and brought her into their bedroom. After that, the king stood up and fell on his wife until he was finished. Then they all sat waiting for morning to come so that the king could kill his wife. At that moment, the world grew dark, and the secret sentence was said, "Sister, tell us a story that will stop us from staying up until morning." Shahrazad said, "Love and dignity, but if the king allows me," he said to her, "Here is King Shahryar. You have stories that you know how to tell, and you tell us beautiful things that make us laugh." Shahrazad said, "Yes." He said to her, "If you go, come and entertain us from here until the time of your killing." Here, Shahrazad began to tell a story until the sun rose. When the sun rose, the story did not end, and the king forgot about the murder altogether because he was attracted to the story that Shahrazad was telling. As soon as the sun rose, Shahrazad fell silent. The king told her to complete the story. Shahrazad said to him, "I only tell stories from midnight until sunrise. If you want to finish the story, we can finish it the next day. Or if you don't like it, kill me like you do with the rest of your wives, and let's finish." The king said to her, "No, until you finish my story, and then I'll kill you." Every night, Shahrazad would tell the king a story, only to finish it at midnight, and then tell him another story, and so on, until in a bygone era, she told the king a story from 1001 Nights. We also have all of Shahrazad's stories. We have a series of episodes about Shahrazad and King Shahryar in the video description or pinned comment. Stay tuned for the tales of Sinbad.